Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. We've ranked the best 10 movies of the year, so now it's time to discuss the 10 worst movies of the year. Put on that seatbelt, people, it's a bumpy ride ahead. The 10th worst movie I saw this year was Moonfall. Awful, but at least it was kinda hilarious. I haven't forgotten that bloody car driving on the fake moon, and nor will I anytime soon. I'm not saying I'm in any rush to watch it again, but if I do watch it again, you can bet your ass there's going to be a lot of alcohol involved. The 9th worst movie of 2022 is The Bubble. Obnoxious is the word that comes to mind when I think of this movie, making jokes about the pandemic, which so many comedies this year thought would be hilarious, and it really wasn't. It's way too big, it's way too bloated, and it's frankly annoying and a little bit insulting. Don't waste your time with this mess. The 8th worst movie I saw in 2022 is Morbius. Good lord, what do I say about this hellfire? Why does it exist? Why did the studios persist with it? I actually think they made things worse for themselves by releasing it. Nobody did trust Sony with Marvel properties, and now they really don't trust Sony with Marvel properties. All you proved is that Marvel desperately need to break that contract with Sony ASAP. And what's even funnier and proves how little Sony understand their properties is that because there were memes out there ironically loving Morbius, they genuinely thought people were loving it, and they re-released it. Good lord, Sony, you've had an absolute nightmare with this one. The 7th worst movie I saw in 2022 was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a shallow reprisal of an already quite exhausted franchise, offering nothing new except we're gonna take on the whole Gen Z millennial bullshit that's just eye-rolling and annoying to most people. Apart from a very gory bus scene that is alright, this film has absolutely nothing at all to offer. It felt out of ideas within the first 10 minutes, and there's just really bad amateur filmmaking decisions made throughout in pretty much every regard. The 6th worst movie I saw this year was The Invitation. It was awful, and sometimes it did border on so bad it's funny, but just not enough for me. Not enough to get any real enjoyment out of it anyway. This film mostly got away with it out of the fact that it was so short and sweet, it really didn't waste my time at all. It's honestly over before you even notice, which really just lent into the film being forgettable, but it does have one of the most hilariously bad endings of 2022. That bit I'm never forgetting. Roundhouse kicking vampires' heads off, that's just magic. The 5th worst movie of 2022 is Disney Plus's Pinocchio. Cash grab bullshit with minimal effort or thought put behind it. Hated it from start to finish. Similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, apparently Pinocchio needed updating to be relevant to Gen Z and millennials, when the original is still relatable to everyone today. Totally unnecessary and frankly kind of insulting to that brilliant original. Just don't waste your time with it. The 4th worst movie of 2022 was Orphan First Kill. Oh boy, this was not good on pretty much any level. It often repeated the plot threads of the original, especially in the attempted romance with the father and the teething difficulties with the new family. They didn't get a younger actress despite it being a prequel, which is genuinely one of the maddest decisions I've seen in film in 2022. The first one isn't great, and yet this one still managed to be worse. Just knock it on the head already. And taking the bronze medal for the worst movie I saw in 2022, it's The Munsters. Incredibly misguided and pointless. I have no idea who this movie is for, and frankly I don't think the movie knows who it's for either. Hence it tries to cover all bases with sing-songs and kids jokes and nostalgia of the original series. It's trying way too hard and yet equally barely trying at all. The biggest crime of this one, however, is the runtime and the pacing. It's almost as if it never went through the editing booth. They keep everything, and they do not order it or construct it efficiently either. And that, for me, is just unforgivable. It's easily one of the strangest movies I saw this year, and it really did waste my time. I just got nothing at all from it. Getting the silver medal for the worst movie of 2022. It's me time. I hated this movie from the opening scene. I can only thank it for not lying to me and letting me know straight out the gate that I am in for 2 hours of sheer hell. Kevin Hart's back on his bullshit, but this time, to make things worse, so is Marky Mark. It's awful. It's so bloated with about 15 different subplots. I honestly think this movie was constructed out of someone at Netflix basically saying, we've got Kevin Hart for one more movie, make up some shit so he can do something and we'll sell that. Because that is what the film comes across as. It might as well just be called Kevin and Mark doing dumb shit. But what's going to get the first place? What could have been worse than Me Time? Well, there was one movie taking the first place of being the worst, most violating piece of crap to hit our screens in 2022. It's Blonde. What the fuck was Blonde? It certainly wasn't a tribute to Marilyn Monroe, that's for sure. I found this film to be nothing more than just incoherently spiteful. The only thing it did do coherently is shit all over Marilyn Monroe, and apparently that's not what the film's trying to do. And yet it's all it managed to achieve. I sincerely hope Ana de Armas finds herself in a shit-hot script for 2023 so that she can bury this disaster off of her CV. It's easily one of the most stunningly jaw-dropping bullshit movies I've ever seen. Not just this year, I mean ever. I would only recommend you watch this movie out of the mind-blowing nonsense that it is. You kind of have to experience it yourself for 3 hours, sadly, to really actually understand what sort of awful crap madness this film actually is. It was suffering. It was pure suffering. It's the only movie this year that I actively walked away from. I had to think about it. I watched an hour and a half and I just thought, I don't want to continue. The only reason I did is because I have a YouTube channel and I felt compelled to do it. I did it for you, okay? God damn it. But that is part of the gig. I suffer so that you don't have to. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are the worst 10 movies of 2022. What did you think about my list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section below. Please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you haven't had enough of this beautiful little face, click on these suggested videos here so you can see more of this pretty little ginger. But if not, take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.